Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Beautiful people. Hello, Hillary, Jess, Viviana, mi amor. I miss you. Katya, Bonadevi. I feel like we were just chatting. How are you guys today? It is really cold in Florida, so thank God I have this super cool sweater from Peru to stay cozy. Although it is very chilly. Hey, Katya, how are you? Hello, Manuel, Jacqueline, Sarah. Great to see everybody. Super excited for today's workshop. I have a lot of notes, so we'll see how far we get. Manuel, great to have you. Today we are looking at karma, clearing karma. Hold on, I wrote it on the board. Let's leave. Ooh, karma clearing detox. So we want to understand what is karma, what is good karma, bad karma, neutral karma, the arrows of karma. What can we do about it? How do we improve our karma? Hello, Melissa. Welcome, William. Thank you for the lovely letter, the card you sent me. That was super nice. Welcome, Yvette and Vivian. And let's see who else. Camila, welcome, welcome. So if everybody could go ahead and find the chat, and in your chat settings, you'll see that there's a to section, and if you click all panelists and attendees, there's a little arrow down, just so that when we chat, everyone can see your message, so we can be in communication. So as everyone's joining the call, and I appreciate you joining in the middle of your Tuesday. Yes, Cecilia. I love Cecilia. Hello, Camila. Where are you coming to us from? Are you in Peru? We have such an international community. Hello, Erica. What a good practice this morning. My legs are kind of already sore. Jen, my yurt witch, I love you. Karina Alvarez, welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, Aaron arranged all my flowers earlier. He's the flower whisperer. Okay. I love the card, Bill. Thank you. So, hello, Petra in Switzerland. All right, I'm really excited for today's exploration of topics. Before we get started, hello, Rakesh. Welcome. I'm just going to keep greeting people as they join the call. Good morning, Vivian. If you guys have done this exercise with me before, but let's play around with it. Stockholm, Sweden. Oh my gosh, I used to come to Sweden 3 times a year. It's like literally, I love the culture in Sweden. I'm not going to go on about it too much, but I really suffer, like my Sweden, my Switzerland, and my Peru. It's just, I'm suffering not being there. So I'm sending you huge love, and hopefully I'll be able to come soon. All right. So let's begin. Today we're going to explore karma, what karma is, how to basically begin to look at your karma before it plays out, and what to do to improve it. Now, hello, Jess. Welcome, welcome. What do you guys think karma is? How would you define karma? What's your idea about karma? And just so you know, we're having a conversation. I love questions. So if I say something, it doesn't make sense to you, if you ask me a question, it actually really helps me. The more we're engaged, otherwise I just kind of feel like I'm talking into oblivion. So what do you think karma is? Tell me about karma. What's karma? Jacqueline says path in life. Jen says consequences to actions we either consciously or unconsciously choose. Very good. Camila says karma is a bitch. Sarah says, where does it come from? Great question. What is karma? Jess says, don't know, but I think it has to do with past. Excellent, excellent. What is your viewpoint on karma? Have you ever felt that you had bad karma or good karma? Sarah says a cosmic joke. Have you ever looked at someone and said, "Oh, you just have bad karma"? Which is an interesting phrase to say. What do you think karma is? Manuel says every action has consequences. Excellent. Sarah says yes, cliche. All right, so when we say karma, William says energy. Karma really affects your energy, which is why it's super important to kind of clear our karma, which is what we're going to look at today. Hillary says maybe it's us coming full circle with the polarizing aspects of ourselves, or maybe our shadows and our light. Beautiful. Sarah says what you put out comes back. All right, so guys, I'm going to tell you the secret is that you already know. Yeah. So as I kind of go through today's exploration, what you're going to see is that I'm not saying anything to you that you don't already know. It's just kind of fallen a bit out of your attention. Okay. Sarah says, okay, good. Sorry, I thought you had another comment. All right. So I feel like everybody has this sense of karma as something where you make an action and you get a result. Yeah. So for instance, I'm just going to say like, it's late at night. I just finished cooking. Dinner was lovely, but I don't really feel like doing the dishes. So I start to think, should I do them or not do them? And I put them in the sink, and then I kind of intentionally wander away, and I go and do something else, and I come back out, and I'm like, I don't really want to do the dishes. Now, you see how many times I'm thinking about doing the dishes? And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I'm too tired, and and I come up with all these stories, and I leave the dishes. Okay? Then in the morning, I wake up and I come out and I'm going to go make my tea or my coffee, or maybe I'm fasting, so I'm drinking like water or something strange. And I come out and the whole thing is full of dishes and it's all dirty. And I say, oh my God, I just have bad karma in life, and my life is like dirty and things aren't nice, and I have to wake up to these dishes. And so this sounds a bit irrational, because who is the one that was responsible for cleaning the dishes? Well, it was me. And many times I kind of looked at it and decided, but I didn't know I was really deciding. I was just like, I told myself a story. Oh, I'm tired. It doesn't really matter. I worked really hard today. And all of these things may be completely valid. But the karma of doing or not doing gives me this result of dirty dishes. And you'll see that I use a lot of really commonplace analogies for this stuff, because we all do this. Has anyone ever looked at the dishes and been like, no, tomorrow me will deal with them? Anybody? Hello, Lara. I'm just going to greet a few people who have joined. Let's see. Francisca, welcome. Cecilia, mi amor. Has anyone ever done that? and now I want to ask you guys, when you did this, hi Cecilia, when you did this, when you left the dishes to tomorrow you or future you, did you just decide I'm not doing the dishes very clearly and say tomorrow me will rise to the challenge and be pleased about it and give today me the boon of not doing dishes? Did you have this kind of agreement, or did you have this kind of strange series of justifications where you're like, I worked hard and blah, 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 and I'm tired, and there was this whole story around it? Which one was it? Do you see that there's a difference? If I'm I'm not doing the dishes today, and it's done consciously, it's one thing, but unconsciously, yeah, it's we have a kind of pity or a sympathy, or this, I'm just I'm not gonna, and yeah, so probably you've done both, exactly, Jess, but we want to see that they're actually different. Sarah says, my mind feels better and clearer when I do them and wake up with an open space, but my mind plays games sometimes. Sarah, that's exactly it. Yeah, Bonadevi says done both, but we want to see that they're qualitatively different. Yeah. Jen says, yeah, same with Sarah. Yeah, Sarah, that was actually very articulate, very clear. So welcome Irene, welcome everyone joining the call. Evelyn, if you Angela, Amy, if you missed the beginning, we're just kind of starting looking at this karma, which is cause and effect. So we can see that a lot of and this is something I wanted to express because it's probably something that you've done many times. And so we see that, for instance, let me explain this. So right now, I have a Jeep and I really love my Jeep, and it's blue. And it's had a slow leak in the driver's side tire on the left side for about the last week. Now, this last week I've been onboarding for my course and working in the lab a lot. I haven't had time to deal with it. But what's the result of that? Is that I have a slow leak in my Jeep on the tire. Now, I can go and fill it once a day and it's fine. But then inside, in my inner voice, I think, have to fill the Jeep tire. I need to go to this meeting. I just Uber there. So I just want you to see that something as innocuous as postponing filling the tire on my Jeep has an effect that goes out kind of throughout the life. And what we want to do, and the purpose of today's whole exercise, is to make this part of the mind that's kind of playing out just below our conscious awareness more conscious. Sarah says, I know this and still sometimes will not do them, which usually a result of being tired or distracted. It eats at you in the back of your mind and disturbs us. Exactly. So with my Jeep analogy, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is that I keep subconsciously remembering or forgetting and then getting in the Jeep and trying to drive and seeing the tire is flat, and it gives you the notification so you know. But it's there. It's like this open cycle or this constant noise. And if I'm not conscious of that and don't know exactly what it is, it's possible to begin to have this inner story where I'm like, I check it and I'm like, oh, the tire is bad. So we have a decaying aspect in the environment. It's very possible for me to identify with that decaying aspect, something that's unclean, unfinished, not well maintained, and say, well, I'm like this. Oh my gosh, well, I guess this is just the life I live, and I guess I'm not a person that can have nice things. And there's all these kind of funny secondary things. Now, those secondary things don't have to happen, because I can say, I know I'm going to deal with the Jeep. Actually, I set a date, I make a commitment, so I know. And I know that the side effect of having something in my environment that's not handled or well maintained is that it can, in a hidden way, begin to degrade my experience in waking life. But if I'm conscious of this mechanism, then I can control it. Does this make sense so far? Gonna do this because I'm cold. Jen says, I had a slow leak with 2 tires last week. I kept putting it off and found myself thinking that if I had a partner, I wouldn't be so busy. Realized I was a bit of a victim mentality. You realized it. That is the most, what am I doing? If I had this, and that's the subtle degradation, as we start to think, you start to feel in some way like the universe is hitting you, and I want you guys to be hitting back of the universe. I want you to be putting out space, expanding yourself, improving. Hello, Christiana. Great to see you, my love. This is what I want for you. Katia says yes. Viviana, yes. Evelyn, yes. And it makes sense. Sarah says, conquering the honey to-do list seems to be an ongoing battle and a mind games at times, depending on circumstances. Yeah, exactly. It is. And I want you guys now to just think back and be honest. And you can write this down in your notebook. I'm a big fan of kind of, doing this stuff so we can see it play out on paper. In the last week, how many things have you needed to do, noticed that you needed to do them, and in a hidden way come up with a series of pity-based or sympathy-based internal calculations, which takes time, that you're not going to do it? Like, just have a look and look back, like, okay, so what's today? Tuesday. What was Monday? What was Sunday? How many times were you with people and you said, oh, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm going to go and be with my family? Just have a look, because we're going to divide this kind of into 2 stuff. There's conscious decisions, I'm going to deal with this at this time, and there's these really hidden kind of pity-based or sympathy-based negotiations that we oftentimes don't remember. Hello, Annika and Angela, welcome. So just take a moment and can anyone remember? Jen obviously gave one also with the slow leak in the tire. It's Mercury retrograde, so maybe that's a thing. Jen says, it was becoming a bummer until I decided to deal with it. Felt much better, more space in my mind to feel powerful and able. The tires going slowly flat brought up ideas of being trapped, being unable to go somewhere, shrank my world quite a lot until I dealt with it. Okay, you graduated. That's exactly the thing. It's like just the amount of psychic and mental crap that comes out of not doing the dishes or handling the tires or not doing the laundry is tremendous. Bonadevi said, had a different week, got my list completed, woke up feeling great after getting dogs' toes trimmed and buffed. Exactly. So here we see Bonadevi said, okay, wait a second, I'm going to go after stuff. I'm going to chase after the world. And that's a very different feeling. And how do we know? Listen, Because we both do, we all do this. We're in the same world. It's the same set of rules. Yeah. And this whole thing is like, sometimes I'll find myself thinking about doing the dishes, and I spend more time thinking about it than it would take to do them. Now, mental energy and the physical action energy are, actually physical energy is a more, it's very easy. Like if you just say the physical body to do something, not so hard. But when the mind is like struggling and resisting, this really depletes us. Sarah says, until you doubt, then the energy shifts. So many factors involved. Annika says, agreed. Jen says, it makes the sink of dirty dishes grow into a demon. Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing you see is that once you have the sink of dishes and the flat tire, then the laundry also becomes a burden. Then there's a leak in the shower, and you got to call a repair person. And then you have all these emails you have to send with your job, or you have to go and do this, and all of a sudden that becomes a problem. And the next thing that happens is you make a decision. I have bad karma. Everything is just pushing me down, sinking me in. And unbeknownst to you, it was these tiny series of events that let the stuff build up. Now, I'm using simple analogies, but sometimes, we have a more complicated situation, but somewhere in it, we're dropping our duty or our responsibility. Does this make sense so far? I'm just going to move because it's freezing cold here in Miami, so you get some dances. Jen says yes. Hillary says yes. So we all have this same mind. We all are dealing with these same forces. The physical universe is kind of always in this decay. So when we say life, the life force is this force that comes in, our life force, that basically organizes the physical universe into something. So life force creates a blossom, a plant that grows to a blossom. Now, I want you to kind of think about this vital force, this alive force. And what does a plant or something that's growing, the quality of it that makes it beautiful is that it has this vital inner strength that comes up and out. Can you guys kind of see that when you see like an animal or a person or a plant that has this vital vibrancy that we feel, we might say that thing has good karma. Would you say that? We're just kind of, let's see, Jen says like a plant growing through concrete. Yeah, but I want you to see a really strong plant. Yeah? And now I want you to see a strong animal, strong being, something that's really vital and vibrant. And when you see this, a vital and vibrant being tends to have an attitude that's good, that's upbeat, that's like thinks it can overcome anything. Can you guys see that? Like when I say life force, like I'm trying to give an example of like a really strong life force. Because we want to understand how we get this bad karma effect. Annika says yes. Viviana says yes. Now, when we talk about youth, we oftentimes talk about this youthful energy, okay? So youthful energy, what does this mean? It means that when something's young, when you think about like a young kid racing around and playing, they run into stuff, they fall down, they tumble, the universe, they bump into stuff, they throw tantrums, they play with their friends, they lose a thing, they get a thing, and there's this dynamic, vital thing. But what happens is that being kind of tumbles and turns through space, learning how to be, is that it gets impacts or things hit it or it has problems and it begins to have these painful moments. Now, a painful moment can be a physical injury, an emotional injury, yeah? And Melissa says, I'm painting a dragon as you say that about life force. Yeah, exactly. So we start to get, as youth, we come forward and we're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you have these big dreams, these big hopes, these big things that you're going to put out into the world. And then you begin, in a perfect or imperfect way, to move out into the world, and something bad happens. Okay, something bad happened, but you keep going, and something bad happens. You lose something. You get in an accident. You break a limb. You tear a knee. I mean, I've had so many physical injuries, and they can really just make you think that all of life is against you. You have something stolen from you. You are attacked. Yeah, you have these you fail an exam. You miss an appointment. You miss several appointments. You lose a business deal. You fall in love and they leave you. All of these things, these losses, they create a pain. And as we're kind of moving through life, I want you to see maybe like two forces. So here we have vitality, and here we have pain and accumulated loss. And at a certain point, they impact, and for a lot of people, the pain and the accumulated loss begins to take over. Does that make sense? So, think about this, like you burn a finger, you break a relationship, all of these things happen, and each time we try to pick ourselves up, but somehow the experience sticks to us with this pain. Yeah, can you guys see that? Oh my God, Anna, yeah. Sarah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, guys, come on, we're in the same world. And then what you see is now you start to look at life, and you had these big dreams, you had these big hopes, but you look back and you see the accumulated losses where something happened to you, or maybe you did something wrong. Jesus, you made a mistake, you stole something, you broke something, you hurt somebody. Oh, that's where you're really going to limit your abilities. So but each of these, we can kind of call them accumulated pain. So we have the vital force of life, and then we have accumulated pain. And these two things work against each other. This is like why you see in so many religions this idea of being reborn, renewed, refreshed. I mean, what do we want? We want to be reborn so that we lose the accumulated pain. Can you guys see this? Yes, please. Sign me up. Yes. Yeah. I am in. Yvette says, how about cutting yourself some slack and being kind to yourself? Wipe the slate clean and forge ahead. Exactly. It's great, but how? Because I believe that each and every single person here in this call wants to do exactly what Yvette just said. Yeah? Cut yourself some slack, move on, have a future. But the problem is that you can't. You go and try to leave it in the past, let it go, and you find that the more you try to let it go, the more you remind yourself of how you failed, how you lost, how bad you are, and you can't get rid of it. Does anyone ever, it feels really hard. Lord says, not easy. Not easy. Sarah says, bingo. So we can see that we all agree. Yvette says, do your practice from the earlier workshop. It's been working for me. Exactly. All of these practices will work. And there's a lot. So we're going to have another one today that's going to rehabilitate another part of you. But each of these is meant to leave the past in the past with a method. Yeah, it's kind of like cleaning out the charges. So now, and I would just want to make sure before I go further that we can see this very clearly. Sometimes we look at somebody else's life and we see them having problems or accidents, and we give this label. We say, oh, it's their bad karma. They just have bad karma. They were mean, or they were this, or they were that. Now, I will tell you that a person is only harmful to others and mean because something in this life or the past taught them that's the way to be, to overcome. The intention of the person doing harm, and I will tell you this after talking to many different criminals in my lifetime, people that you would think of as really bad, is that when you actually talk to them, they always have a complicated series of explanations, and the root intention at the bottom of it is good. So let's look at this, because that's hard to look at, because we think this person beat this person up in the street, this person stole this person did this, and we see that action. But if we want to rehabilitate ourselves and all of our karmic mistakes, we have to understand a bit of this mechanism. So, for instance, if I said to you, how bad is it if a guy who's starving steals a loaf of bread? On a scale of 1 to 10, guy's starving, he hasn't eaten in 4 or 5 days, runs into a bake shop, grabs the bread off the thing and runs out the door. How bad is this on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being like not so bad, 10 being really, 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 really bad. Jen says 1. Camila, yeah, Yvette says 2. Hillary 1. But how bad is it? Scale of 1 to 10. Annika says 10. She's like not having stealing. Sarah says depends. Bonadevi says 5. All right. Same store, exact same store. A guy who has $50 million in assets in his bank account walks in, grabs a loaf of bread, and runs out. How bad is it? Cecilia says 10. How bad is it? Scale of 1 to 10. Sarah says, are we comparing this person to a real... We're just looking. We're just having a look. Jen says 7. Annika 10. Yvette 10. Annika 12 plus. So that one got even worse. Jess says 0. So what changed here? We want to have a look at this. So from your... And this is going to reveal something really profound to you guys. So... The action is stealing a loaf of bread. That's the action. That's the karmic action, right? So both people stole a loaf of bread. But yeah, most of you, not all, most of you would designate the first one as not as bad as the second one. Okay? Now, I just want you to understand that this is what we call justification. Evelyn says he may be a kleptomaniac. You don't know. His story's still innate. We don't know. We don't know why he did it. Maybe he hates the baker. There can be so many different stories. But the difference in your number just tells you this is just a justification. So when someone else steals a loaf of bread, you give it one number. When you steal a loaf of bread, you had many, many, many reasons for doing it. You knew it was wrong, but you considered that something else was more wrong. So you haven't eaten and you're about to die and you're so hungry, you consider that, which you're making a judgment call, which thing is more or less ethical. You decide it's better to steal the loaf of bread than to die. But then, if we say, well, you're not going to die, same action, stealing a loaf of bread, you're totally rich, you could buy 10 bakeries. But you steal it anyways. And now we see that we have a different judgment. One is worse than the other, but the action is the same. Can you guys see that the story or the justification is one thing and the action is the same? Can you separate these two things? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I know, because I have the same mind. So now when we look at doing our dishes, or we look at getting our tire changed, or we look at doing anything, what we can see is that when we don't take the right action, we always have some sort of story justification, and that justification is actually how we punish ourselves. That's the bad karma, because it takes up so much of our energy. So this is the thing, is like the action is still the same. I didn't do the dishes. I didn't do the dishes because blah, 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 blah. And we have all of this. It's the blah, 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 blah. This is the part that you need to be careful with, because I can just decide not doing the dishes. Okay, fine. And then I can decide doing the dishes. Not doing. But if I go and do them and I resent them and I create the blah, 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 that makes me feel bad in life and depletes my energy. If I do the dishes joyously, or I not do the dishes joyously, because I can do dishes whenever I want, all of a sudden you see that the karma, the heaviness, the physical universe is not sitting on us. I made a decision. I'm not doing the dishes. I'm not going to do the dishes for 3 days. kind of funny. I can have fun with that. Or every time I look at it, I can create all of the stories around it, which brings me down. Does this make sense, my loves? I'm showing you how you accumulate pain. What is this accumulated pain? Yeah. Okay, good. So karma is the cycle of cause and effect. We do something or we don't do something, and then there's a result in the physical universe. Yeah. So let's look a little bit deeper at different kinds of karma, and this is where the archery comes in. 1 second. Jen says it's easy to understand when the examples are simple, like dirty dishes or stealing a loaf of bread, but it's so much more challenging to understand things like abusing a child or an animal. Yeah, of course. I believe all humans do things to feel good, but sometimes that hurts other. Trying to get my head around this when it's far more intense than dishes or bread. Yeah, of course. That's exactly it. It may be good intention for a criminal murderer, but it's not really great for the victim and their families and friends. I'm not saying they're right and that I'm agreeing with them. Guys, so let's get this really clear. There's two separate things. There's, listen, doing bad things to others, we can all say it's not good for the survival of the society. Yeah? So you have survival of the individual and survival of the people around the individual. Now, somebody who actually isn't really good at life will destroy all of the people around them. They'll take and they'll steal and they'll hurt. But that brings them down because, as you know, your social relationships are part of what lifts you up. We are a community. We're not separate. But this person has a confusion there. I am explaining to you how people justify doing bad things, because I promise you that every single human being on this planet has at least 20,000 sins. Now, you can sin against yourself, meaning that you allow yourself to always take the badness of others. You let yourself be harmed. You don't know how to defend yourself. Yeah? So there are many, many, many different ways that we are sinning. And if you want to understand really bad people, you have to know the mechanism. I'm not justifying or saying it's good. Guys, I'm a consummate do-gooder. Banadevi says, Dexter the crazy angel. Yeah. Just thinking of your criminal example you've spoken about. Can you give an example? So here's the thing, is that you guys know that I work a lot with people who oftentimes have been criminals and want to get out of it, or who have had really bad things either happen to them, they've been the victim, or they've done really bad things. Okay? So now this universe that we're in has a lot of this desire to punish. So if someone does something bad, then we think, oh, you need punishment. But nobody ever improves, becomes better by punishment. People don't improve by punishment. They just don't. Yeah, they become worse and worse and worse and worse. They don't become a good member of society. Annika, they are. Don't worry. Yeah. So we want to understand this. Now, if we're going to punish people, better, we're actually destroying them, and we're putting back into society. Everyone they touch, they're going to harm. So either we have to understand the mechanism of rehabilitating people, or we just take them off the planet, because they're only going to cause more and more harm to society. And the more people harm other people is the more broken people we get, and then they harm other people. And so we see that we infect each other with things like gossip, vicious gossip, hatefulness, constantly criticizing others. Like, we do this. This becomes violence, murder, these bad things. But we have this idea that some people, for some reason, are just really the baddies. And we're like less bad. And there's like the goodies. And all of it is just degrees. Now, I'm not justifying doing bad things. As many of you know, I fight a lot against criminals, but I also know how to handle them. So we just want to have this viewpoint. It's a planet, yeah, we're on a planet of criminals, pointing the finger and saying that person is more criminal than me. No, no one here hasn't done a sin. You've lied, you've stolen ideas. You've done this, and you can tell me you haven't, and I'll just laugh. Yeah, we want to understand it. That, this is the thing, is like, if we don't understand what bad karma is, like this whole like inner mechanism, and I'm giving a very abbreviated talk on this. If you guys are part of the upcoming course, it's all about karma purification. It's all about clearing out this stuff. So, but I want this today to be practical so that you can look at it. And I will promise you, if I make a list of 10 sins and I ask you to put a number next to them, this number will be very informative about your own sins. And I promise you that everything you've ever done wrong, you have a justification for. And the justification means this, and this is, it can go from gentle to extreme. The justification means, I want to do good, but I don't know how. You just don't know how to do the right thing. So you're doing the best you can. And in the case of people who are criminals, the baddies, they're just really not skilled at understanding that you treat others well, and it grows your garden. Your garden is not just my life. It's my life and everyone who is in exchange with me. So you guys are all part of my garden. That's why I care about you understanding stuff. The better condition every single one of you that's in exchange with me is in, the better my garden is. The better your garden is, the better my garden is. And I understand this very deeply. But some people don't understand it. They're confused here. And wrong action, as much as it might be ugly, and I have been the on the other side of many, many dark things, and I understand this. This is how we liberate ourselves from it. Every single wrong action is a manifestation of confusion. Doesn't mean we don't send them on to their next incarnation. We have to prune the garden. But we want to understand the mechanism, really, so that, and when you do, and I'm not saying you need to go out and forgive everyone and never speak up and be a pacifist. In fact, most of you would know I'm a total activist. I stand up, I speak out. But I also understand why someone might be trying to harm me. I know the mechanism. The mechanism does not mean I agree with the other person. But what it means is, because I know the mechanism happening inside the other person, I am much more skillful at shooting arrows. Okay? And that's what I want to talk about next, because this analogy, if you get it, is going to help you. So there's basically three kinds of karmic arrows that we send off. And you may want to write this down. It's up to you. Jen says, it's like you can see the quality of the soil that affects the plant. Exactly, that's karma. So if I want to grow flowers and all I think about is blossoms, I'm not going to grow flowers. How do I grow flowers? I think about soil. That's karma. That's karma. I think about the soil. So when we talk about, it's exactly this, karmic arrows, you have three. You have the arrows you've already fired. They're shot. You can't take them back. You have the arrows that are in the quiver that you're about, hold on, let me get a good shot of this, that you're about to fire. And you have the arrows in your pack. Okay? Sarah says, beautiful analogy. Nature tells us, nature is cause and effect. That's the yin and yang, the Han thoughts, this exchange. So can you guys see that? Karmic arrows you fired, arrows in the hand, and arrows in your pack. Yeah? So right now, and this is going to be a little activity. Go ahead and take your notebook, and I want you to write down, what arrows do you have in your hand today? Okay? Think about the rest of the day. What arrows are you going to fire? Are you going to send some emails? Are you going to do some mulching? Are you going to scrape the frozen ice off your car? What are you going to call this? What arrows are you going to fire? and come up with a list of 10 little ones, big ones. It doesn't have to be super important. Maybe you're gonna do your laundry. Maybe you're gonna wash your dishes. What are the karmic arrows just today that you have in your quiver? You're gonna feed your cats. Maybe you're gonna take a nap. Maybe you're gonna rest. What are just 10? And write it down quickly. Okay, I'm gonna mop my floor. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna do yoga. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go and stare at the water, the mountains. I'm gonna read a book. What are your? But you haven't fired, but they're in your hand today. Just a list of 10, and when you're done, write like yes or done or something in the chat. I'm gonna dance because it's cold. That's my arrow in the quiver. It's cold in Florida, which is nice. The air is fresh, but you need to put on some more leg warmers. Hillary says yes. Annika says yes. Sarah says yes. Yes, yes, yes. I do wake up this terrifyingly happy and oftentimes sing songs in the morning, out of tune. Morning songs should always be totally out of tune. Manuel says done. List of 10. 10 things. 10 arrows you could fire today. Sarah knows. She's heard my morning songs. I sing to my Pomeranians. I prefer to take old 80s songs and turn them into a Pomeranian song. Christina says yes. Christiana says yes. Sarah says yes. All out of tune. Yeah, it's good. Bill says done. Jen says I do that too. I love singing songs about my dogs. Yeah. Mine are terrifying. Hillary done. Camila, I only got 5 hours left of the day. It's true. Yeah, but it's the idea. So, maybe you write 3 times, gonna nap, gonna snack, gonna nap, gonna snack. I think it's probably a very dark day in Sweden. Christiana says, I make up potty walking songs. When you're walking the dog, yeah, the dog potty songs. That's very funny. All right. So everyone's got 10 things. So this is basically we're learning to consciously assess. Now, I know we like to have fun. Let's be joyous in life while we're handling our bad karmas. So everybody has 10. Now I want you to look at your list of 10 and just ask yourself, do you want to change any of these? Do you want to add anything to your list? Do you look at something and is there anything where you're like, should I shoot that arrow? For instance, maybe you're thinking of sending a strongly worded email to somebody and you're 80% sure you want to fire that arrow, but I want you to, because we're going to look at arrows that we've already fired next, I want you to think, do I really want to? Should I write it and just send it? Should I write it and keep it? So just have this idea and look at your list of 10, and maybe it's perfectly great things, and make a decision. Should anything be modified? Because I want you to imagine each thing as it plays forward. Do you want the karmic effect of it? And you might. I do love a good fight. I love a good email back and forth. I'm taking on a pesticide company at the moment. It's a hobby. Let's see. Sarah says I could possibly switch an arrow or two, but mostly no. Yeah, oftentimes you'll see 1 or 2 things. That's why it's what we're doing is we're learning to make conscious what was kind of compulsive or just below conscious. Jen says, I'd love to add lounge on a tropical beach to my list. Only one item on my list I would change. Yeah, so oftentimes you're going to see 1 or 2. So this is just we're just learning to really look at it. The honeydew list is tight. Christiana says 1 major action. Bonadevi, good list. It's practical. Yeah, this is, while we're doing a lot of philosophy, guys, I want you to understand that everything I'm teaching is meant to be practical. I want everyone to be better, healthier, more effective in the world. All right, great. So now you can see okay, whatever arrows you have in your quiver, these, you didn't fire them yet, so you can still make a change. And we just want to be in this way, every action you take, imagine what your intention is for the future, because it's not like thinking, oh well, I don't know what will happen. I want you now to begin to look and say, what is my intention with each of these things? Because when we're shooting arrows, we want to hit the mark. And if I don't know the mark, see the mark, have an awareness of the mark, I'm hoping I'm going to hit the mark. But I don't teach you hope, I teach you skill. Faith is different, but I don't want you to hope you'll hit the mark. I want you to hit it. Okay? So now I want you to look at each of these 10 things and just very quickly write, what's your intention? Now, maybe 8 of them are not very deep. It's like intention, have clean laundry, intention, clean sink. Super simple, clean life, take care of my affairs. But maybe one of them, you want to write that strongly worded email, and you think that your intention is, I'm going to show them how strong I am. But maybe your intention is actually, I want to give them a bad day. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't take any action. I'm telling you, be honest with your intention, and it's not something you have to share with me. Jen says, this is getting interesting. Intention behind the arrows. I mean, I do hope my lectures never are not totally transforming. Sarah said, I hope. They may be boring. Sarah says, to have the ability, which is really a gift. Yeah. So look at this. What's your intention? And many intentions might be mundane. I maintain my house. I just got a really cool new robot vacuum that you press a button. I have hardwood floors everywhere. It sucks up all the dirt. If anyone needs a reference, I can send it to you. It's like $150. My intention is to have a clean space. Yeah? Not to do lots of work. So see the difference. My intention is to have a clean space, not to do lots of work maintaining it. So because I'm clear about the intention is clean space, not hard work, I keep my space very nice and empty, easy to clean. You want that WhatsApp me, guys, or email me. It's amazing, and it's like $150. And you press the button, and it goes around. The only thing it doesn't do is corners, and you have to get your cords up. But this is just a simple thing. It's totally practical, but you can see the intention is clean space, not hard work. And I'm not saying anything is right or wrong here, but we're learning what's the intention. Be honest with yourself about what you really want. Look, if I want somebody to have a bad day, if that's my intention, I can be honest about it and then skillful. We're not talking right or wrong. We're talking intention. It's a different thing. Intention is, what target do I want to hit? There may be a really wicked person in the world, and I realize that by giving them multiple problems, that they can't do wicked things to other people. So my intention, may be to take a person who's doing bad actions and give them things to do instead of hurting other people. More complicated one for you, Jen. Yeah? I'm just gonna kind of go with this, guys, as we're looking at intentions. I may have past traumas, and I may think that my intention is to heal. But before my intention to heal, I may intend to communicate to the other person what they did to me. And so I want to say, well, okay, I'm pretending I want to heal, but actually what I intend to do is tell them how much they hurt me. What's the actual intention? Because when you see this, instead of because normally you have a little thing where you're like, oh, if I'm not being a nice person, I'm not going to look at it. Be honest with yourself. We're not talking good and bad. We're talking intention. What do I intend to do with this action? Because the moment you see the intention, then you can say, is that really, really what I want? Okay, so did everybody finish their 10? Because then I'm going to move to the next part of this kind of thing. Did everyone get 10, they're all their intentions? Yeah. Okay, so now Jen says, if you aren't honest with yourself, other people can lie to you easily. Exactly. If you know yourself and you can be honest about your negative intentions and your positive intentions, then you can do the next thing that we're going to learn. So next up, looking at all of these intentions just for today, I want you to write a list of 5 life goals you have right now. And so a life goal could be get into a new relationship. A life goal could be lose weight. A life goal could be change my career. A life goal could be finally know how to be happy every day. A life goal could be improve my skin. A life goal could be anything. A life goal can be giant. I want to do this huge thing. A life goal can be tiny. I want to be able to open my nostrils more. A life goal can be anything, but I want you to write down 5 without judgment. They don't need to be big or small. It's just an exercise. Of course, the funny thing is the least you worry about it, the more effective this will. The least you think, okay, what should be my life goal? Just write it down. Be honest. Jen says we all eat lies when the heart is hungry. Oh, I like that. That's very poetic. I can't remember who said that. I'm sure we could Google it and find out. 5 life goals. 5 life goals. Oh, there's the singing. You better watch out. Five life goals. I'm gonna do my staying warm in Florida dance. I need to get my leg warmers out. Yeah, let me know when you're done. 5 life goals, small or big. Christiana says, thanks, I'm feeling better putting out spaces. Yeah, I told you, I warned you if you came you would feel better. Evelyn done, Sarah done. You can do these workshops laying down. You know, Christiana's having a challenging time in her life, and I said, just come, you can always fall asleep in it, it's fine. Viviana done, Melissa done. This is not a stress zone. We're a joyous community of supportive, amazing people. Guys, this is an amazing community, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, to support you guys. It's lovely. Excellent, excellent. Sarah says the author of the quote is Penelope Douglas. Thank you, Sarah. You're on it. All right. So now, guys, let's have a look. I want you to look. So you have a list of 5 of like kind of life goals, and then you have a list of 10 of arrows in the bow. And I want to ask you a question. How does the first list of 10 relate to the second list of 5? And I want you to now look at each of those 10 and ask yourself this question. Is the first 10 taking you towards the goal or away from it? And just put like a T for towards and A for away from it. Bang, bang, T. Yeah, so just have a look. And some of them maybe like, you know, doing my laundry does take me towards any goal. So these are basic like life mechanisms. But sometimes we're doing busy work to avoid moving towards our goals. Just give each, like, look at your 5 goals and your list of 10. Are there anything that's like a hidden taking away from the goal? Like sometimes you'll be like, I really want to do this with my life, but you'll go but I can only do this, and you'll move towards the thing that you actually don't want to do as a way of avoiding. Just have a look, because maybe everything is towards for you guys. We're just looking. Jen says, T except for one item on my list, which is an item that takes away from the goal, and it's entirely my choice. But now you see it, because the moment you start to see things consciously, maybe you put the arrow back in the quiver. Maybe you put some more arrows in your hands. So after you kind of look, give each 10 a T and an A, either one. Yeah, of course you can break the arrow. Jen, you're free. Yvette says, random stuff filling time and rob me of time. brain space to move ahead. Okay, exactly. So we're just looking. Yeah, this process of looking, sometimes in your life you're going to have all T's. Sometimes you're going to have half T and A. So I feel like this is like a tits and ass joke somehow. I didn't realize this was funny when I put it in my notes. I'm cracking myself up right now. Sometimes it's all ass, sometimes it's all tits. I didn't even mean to make this joke. You know, I have my notepad here for today's like what drill we're doing, and I just realized that this is funny. So sorry about that, guys. I'm going to change maybe I'll keep it. I don't know, but how much TNA is your life balanced with? Okay. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to ask you is, are there some things that you want to put into your arrows to fire, like the ones that you're going to fire the next day or two, that are going to take you towards your goal? Or there's some things you want to put into your next short-term cycle. So a short cycle is like 24 to 48 hours. The things that you're going to fire off, write them down. Write them down. You'll probably find you have around 5. If you really look, like you're looking at the goal. And when you look at this, that you're going to see that there are things you've been avoiding. Just be honest. Look at it. Just look, be brave and say, you know, I really want this thing. Like, okay, I really would like to go out on dates. So probably I should go out in public occasionally. Oh, but I've been avoiding that. I'm just staying home. You know, it's something like this. Katya says, most of the list has nothing to do with my goals. Sad emoji, terror emoji. Well done. So now you see that, guys. So here we're just learning. I told you we're going to uncover these hidden things in the mind so that you can, yeah, Katya, I totally get you. Why do I love this particular practice? Because it has changed the outcome of my own life. When I look, I'm like, wait a second. And now the thing you have to ask yourself is, which future do you want to wake up in? Do you want to wake up in the future where you fired the right arrows today, and then in that new future you have the goals attained? Now, on this particular subject, I could literally speak for 3 weeks. So there's a lot here. I'm trying to make it really practical so you can begin to improve your life right out of this lecture. Christiana says, what I see is that it's okay to do what's necessary, but not get swept up in it, like I would in the past. Stay conscious of how I'm choosing to fire the right arrows while taking care of what needs to happen. You fire your arrows consciously, and you look and you say, okay, and this like we're writing it down and we're like kind of learning the mechanism, but it's something that you can do. Like you can walk out, okay, what arrows are in my hand today? Are these arrows in line with the goals I want to hit? Or are they a hidden way to create failure, to create bad karma, to feel a victim? Because it's only us that can change our life. Like there isn't some like luck god that comes down and says, ta-da, this is the luck god, this is the change. Jen says, such a great and profound, simple question. Yeah. Annika says, aha, makes sense. Christiana says, total free way of looking at goals and actions from a conscious place. Yeah. Annika says, oh dear, this is deep. I would never get deep. I prefer the shallow end of the pool. Hillary says, very interesting and helpful. Yeah, guys, I want you, the more improved your gardens are, the better my garden is. Think about that. I'm just extending my garden. No shallow I'm trying to be shallow. Okay. So you're starting to see now that these arrows in your hand are very, very valuable. But now I want to talk a little, yeah, it's funny, Annika. We like to have fun. So now I want to talk about the arrows you've already fired, okay? Because oftentimes these are the ones that we are suffering. So I want you to look at your life and make a list, and we're just going to do 5 here, of 5 arrows you've fired that are playing out. So an arrow fired is you broke up with someone. An arrow fired is I applied for a new job. An arrow fired, I decided to move. An arrow fired, I I I left the box at their house and I wasn't sure how it would be received. You can't take it back. Yeah? 5 things that you've already fired. I bought a new car. I decided not to eat and I didn't eat for 3 days and fasted. Arrows fired. Um, I did late night Amazon shopping. Anyone ever fired that arrow? Christiana brought COVID to my house. Yeah, that's an arrow. Now it's here. Okay. So five arrows that you fired. Just to, like, when you're done, write done. 5 arrows. I did my laundry. I started writing the book. Yeah. I decided to dye my hair. It's dyed. It's a different color. Now I have different colored hair. So arrows that are fired. I decided to sue. I sent the email already. These are all fired arrows. Now, once you fire an arrow, it begins to move into the universe following the law of cause and effect. So once a karma has been fired, this karma is going to generate something back to you. Yeah? So you fire the arrow, whatever it is, something is going to come back. That's cause and effect. Okay? Now, here's the thing, is that some of these karmic arrows, we just want to let play out. Okay, I fired it, the results will come. This is a reciprocity, and we just allow it to play out. Some of the karmic arrows, you may want to fire another arrow. You may want to do something about it. So, for instance, I did late night shopping on Amazon. The next morning, maybe I want to cancel a few things. Okay, I fired a second arrow. I did something about it. I sent an angry email. Maybe I want to write an apology. I applied for the job. I'm not sure I really want that job, so I'm going to apply for another one. Do you guys see this? So we want to have the ability now, and I know this seems like a little bit, really, it's simple. It's stuff you already know, but when we look at it consciously, which arrows have I already fired? And then you want to select out of your list of 5, which of those things you're going to let just play out. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'll get the reciprocity. It's fine. This is karma clearing. We let it play out and come what may. Sarah says simple but not easy. I like simple and effective. That's exactly it. Now, look at those 5. And are there any of them that you need to make an adjustment? You want to fire another arrow. You want to try to improve it. Yeah, I did the job interview and I was totally nervous and I vomited on my potential new boss's shoes. I really wanted the job though. I'm going to go in there, meet with them, apologize, bring some snacks, and this time make sure that I don't vomit and give a good presentation. Annika says, how could that happen to you though? I just make up stuff, like it's just like, because I want you guys to kind of see. I never did that. I'm pretty good at job interviews. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm giving like examples that are kind of funny so that you can relate, because otherwise it just becomes like very abstract, and we want this to be practical. Okay, so look at your list and just decide, like you can put like a C for change or an NC for not change. Yeah, do I want to fire another arrow? Do I want to make a change here, or is it fine? Am I going to have the reciprocity? Making sense? Can you guys see how we can kind of look at the arrows already fired and make this decision? Are you able to? Are you guys done with it? Are you still on this one? Done. Just doing my mustache pen impression. Excellent. Okay, done. Annika, Bonadevi. All right, great. So, excellent. Vivian, thank you so much. So the next thing that we want to look at, just so we have a good analogy. Yeah, Bill says reality checking. This is exactly it. We're just looking. We're taking a very unmysterious approach to handling our karmic flows, our karmic arrows, our karmic causes, and if we're just looking. Now, I want you to look at this. So when I say arrows in the backpack, arrows in the quiver, I want you to ask yourself, which things are you keeping that you plan to fire in the next 6 months to 5 years? Okay, so this is which arrows are in the quiver, like the hidden goals, the things you might do in a while, the emails you might send, the projects you might start, which are the ones that are kind of like back here. And I oftentimes say that these are like a seed form. So just have a look. Come up with a list of 5. You can do more, but at least 5. Which things are in a seed form? And try to identify 5 things that you're planning to do in the next 6 months to 5 years. Yeah, and let me know when you're done. Thank you, Annika, my love, from Croatia. We are seriously all over the world. We got Croatia to Hawaii to Peru to Canada to the Northeast, the Southeast. I've heard Croatia, I look at like pictures of it, it's supposed to be so pretty. And like the lakes and yeah, it's beautiful country. Annika, I'm gonna come visit when they let me fly. We have a podcast coming out in like 4 or 5 days, I think, with Annika, where I talk about one of the hardest times in my life and something that I went through that was really dark. So I'll send an email out and post it on social media. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to talk about. It's something I haven't spoken about since it happened. I was definitely had a bad person attack me. So I'm going to talk about this in this interview. Annika says, please follow Ray, the most inspiring and bravest woman ever. Yeah, we're standing up to someone who's harmed a lot of people, who harmed me and many other people after me. Jen says, definitely want to hear this podcast. Yeah, so that'll be coming out this next week. I'll email it out like I do, guys. If you don't get my emails, email me and let me know you're not getting my emails. Okay. All right, so everyone has written down their arrows in the quiver. Now, I want to ask, yeah, right, Christiana Penguins. I want to ask you guys, if you look at your current goal list and you look at the things that you're having in your quiver, what's the relationship? What's the relationship? These hidden things that you're like wanting to do one day, and the conscious present time goals, are they the same? Are they different? Is there something here that you're keeping in the quiver because you are avoiding doing it and promise yourself someday I'll do it? Is there something here that when you look at it you don't love as much as here? Have a look. The current goals that you're setting your intention with, compare them to the 6 to 5 year goals in your quiver. Evelyn says 3 are the same. Excellent. We have a great, so we're looking for these intentional, think of like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. Like we want to be really good karmic archers. So maybe the goals here are totally different from the goals here. Maybe the 6 to 5 year things you have in your backpack and the ones that you're doing now, totally different, totally the same, somewhat the same. But I want you to have a look, because the ones that you have hidden here Sometimes, and I'm not saying this is not the same for everybody, I'm just going to talk about some things. Sometimes the ones here are what we really want, and the ones here are what we think that we should have or get because someone told us what we can accomplish. What I want you to do is look at both and be honest with yourself. And imagine that whatever you decided to do, you succeeded. So if I was going to succeed at every arrow I was firing, which are the ones I'd really want to fire? Look at your lists and write 5 things. Which are the arrows I'd really, really, really want to fire if I knew I would succeed? Which are the ones I'm firing because I think it's what I can do? Which are the ones I won't fire because I think I'm not good enough? And again, back to which are the ones I would fire if I knew I would succeed? Banadevi says that is true. Just have a look, guys. And the answers here are going to be different for every person. Let me know when you're done looking. Evelyn says all. Excellent. This is just a process of examining present arrows, arrows already fired, and potential arrows that we might fire one day, and being very honest with ourselves about what we want. You may think, I want to be the CEO of a global corporation. Then you need to be honest. What does your waking life look like? All day appointments, all day responsibility, hard decisions. Do you like that? I actually do. I like to work. I like meetings. I like to do projects. I like that. Maybe you want to actually wake up in a house by the river or a yurt by the river growing your own food. Maybe you want to wake up and be a perfect housewife or house husband. Maybe you want to wake up and have a simple job that pays you enough, and then you have a lot of hobbies. Maybe you want to wake up and make a little more money. All of these are fine. But what is not fine is lying to yourself. Because lying to yourself is going to make you bend the arrows, twist the reality, twist the karma, and eventually fall down into a state where you're half alive and half dead. And that's bad karma. The purpose of today's time together is to have you look at your life and make decisions about how to consciously improve it. Now, on this particular subject, detoxing the karma, detoxing the mind, detoxing the body, yeah, this is the subject of the next 3 months of my courses. And if you thought this is in depth, this course is very in depth. It comes with all the products. It comes with all the practices. It's amazing. And I just want you to know that's available until the end of this week, and then I can't take more people because we'll be too far into the practices. Oh, okay, Annika, excellent. I would love to have you with us. This is like such a cool, amazing thing. So what we're going to be doing, just like we did today and in the last 3 workshops, is we're detoxing. We're removing the stuff in our life that is counterproductive, counter survival, counter us, counter your ability. And we're doing it in a way that aligns your life with you. And you can think about this like a beautiful garden or a cycle of reciprocity shining out from you. And how to create the correct gravitational force around you so that you pull what you want. And the things you don't want, you don't have a problem with it, but you don't need to embody it. So today we learned a kind of shortcut to just begin changing the life, but we didn't really deal with any of the accumulated pain. So this is basically a process of logic. So here you're going to be able to take your logic and apply it to your life. And the only thing that will take you off of this is when something touches a heavy, we call them samskaras in yoga, a heavy charged point, and triggers it and makes it come up and kind of grab or pull your logic. And this part of the mind we're going to be purifying in the course. It does take me, these are like 2 to 3 hour processes to do that, but they're amazing. Now, I want to close today just by clearly acknowledging that a person can be pushed down by society, family, friends, work, your employees, or your boss, by your past, by your present. Everything can hit you, crush you, push you down. The physical universe is a universe of force. But you are a being that's outside of this. You are unborn, undying, always awake, always aware. But that presence, that beingness, as it shows up, it has many layers. And what we do in yoga is we clear and unify each of the levels of yourself so that you become skillful and effective. Because if we have a body, if we have a life, let's make it joyous. And the other thing that I want to end with today is that when you see your community, when you see your friends, when you see people suffering, when you see people making wrong choices, taking wrong actions, and you see the bad karma storm begin to gather around them, see it for what it is. Instead of seeing that the person is bad, see that they just are confused, and somehow find a way, either by the grace of your words or your presence, to give them a little bit of ease and understanding. Because I will tell you that every broken person, every hurt person hurting people, if you give them just a little bit of understanding, this is like a drop of water in a desert. Yeah? Obviously, you don't have to take on and fix the whole world, but have this viewpoint of just understanding. If you can understand the criminal might no longer need to be a criminal. I'm not saying to take this on. I'm just saying if you can, especially with the people that are close to you, understand them a little better, you will see that the internal world becomes more healthy. And when this internal world leaves the despair and the accumulation of pain, the external world in the future can blossom. Are there any questions on the stuff that I went over today? I'm trying to keep these concise. Annika says, please all listen to this brave woman, Ray, and her story. It's coming out Saturday. Okay, yeah. This is it's a very personal story. Annika, thank you. I love you so much. Jan, another deeply worthwhile class with you, Ray. Thank you. Yeah, I try to make it cool and useful. Thank you, Christiana, Cecilia, Camila, Bonadevi, Annika, Amy, Melissa, Erica, Evelyn, Francisca, Heidi, Hillary, Jen, Jennifer, Jess, Karina, Katia, Lourdes, Mallory, Emmanuel, Petra, Sarah, Vivian, Viviana, Bill, and Yvette. I love you guys. Write to me if anything. Join this course. It's the last week for it. It's amazing. It will change your life if you like this kind of stuff. And it comes with lots of products, so you'll have amazing skin. All you have to do is write to me on some medium. So look at your list and make your life the way you want it to be. We only have a little bit of time here. Let's make it amazing. Namaste. Have an amazing day.